420, 34. I ain't give him that. How that gonna move? Okay. YouTube is doing some strange things, but that's okay. I'm just looking to at my little my channel here, and let's see who's in. Okay, video manager. What videos are found? Are you shitting me? I think they scrubbed all my videos. Oh. God damn it. Sign out. Sign out. FW Live now. Okay. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. Let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. Let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. Let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. Let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard a repeat. Let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. No matter what, you guys. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. No matter what, you guys. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. No matter what, you guys. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. No matter what, you guys. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. I am working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, maybe. I hope you're still here. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. Send me an email. I'm working on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, maybe. I hope you're still here. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. Send me an email there on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, maybe. I hope you're still here. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. Send me an email there on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, maybe. I hope you're still here. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. Send me an email there on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, maybe. I hope you're still here. I just heard. Okay, let's try this way. All your questions. Send me an email there on the problem with that reverberation thing with the speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you guys hear a reverberation? Okay. All right, maybe. I hope you're still here. I just heard. here. Let's try this. I'm working on the problem with that reverberation with your speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm going to you guys hear a reverberation. No matter what, because you guys are just here. Let's try this. I'm working on the problem with that reverberation with your speakers, and I think we have it resolved. Yeah, I'm going to you guys hear a reverberation. No matter what, because you guys are just here. Let's try this. I'm working on the problem with that reverberation with your now I should have volume and everything. Okay. That was like way up high. Okay, trying this again. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, audio's back. But do you hear repeating voice? Okay, you can hear me, but do you hear repeating voice? No repeating voice. Okay. Alright, I'm making an adjustment on the decibel level here. Alright. Can you hear me better? And do you hear repeating voice now? Alright, I don't hear a reverberation on the voice. Nadine, okay, I'm so glad you didn't get discouraged and leave. All right. I'm kind of backing myself up with my phone to see if what I can hear. On my phone, I don't hear a echo. All right. Now we don't get this in the Google chat, in the Google Hangout. In the Google Hangout, it's pretty stable and pretty clear. Now we don't get this in the Google chat, in the Google Hangout. In the Google Hangout, it's pretty stable and pretty clear. Now we don't get this in the Google chat, in the Google Hangout. So I think I think we're just going to go to the Google chat. Is everybody cool with that? Just say yes. And I'm going to post a email. And as a public service announcement, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to be recording the Google chats. I'm just gonna record the Google chats, and I'll post them, and just like, hey, if you want to be a part of it, because this live stream thing is killing me. It really is. I mean, I pretty much wasted 54 minutes on this, and it's just not good. Okay, so that is my email. Just go ahead and send me an email, please. And Nadine, I really hope to see you there. I always like to see new people. I guess I'm gonna have to test this thing out during the week because it's driving me nuts. I can't do what I came here to do, which is to deliver questions on aviation and military test prep material and scientific material. So this is quite frustrating. YouTube, I've sent you feedback too, so I mean, you know, it just shouldn't be this hard. You got an encoder, you fire it up, as long as it's green, everything should work good on this end. You did something a minute ago that took out the echo. Okay. I guess. I don't know. But, let's just, I want to make sure now. Does everybody have, Nadine, do you have a Gmail account? I don't want to assume, but do you have a Gmail account? Because if you have a Gmail account, it will... Oh, yeah, it's gone now. Okay. So, are you guys hearing me crystal clear? Just type clear. Okay, Mr. E says yes. Oh, Nadine says yes. What was that? Yes, you hear me crystal clear, Nadine, or you have a Gmail account, because it's just much easier to link in when we do a live stream. Clear. Okay. I'm on my phone. Thank you, Osvaldo. 7 in the room. Okay. If you guys can hear me clearly, then what we will do is, because I need to find the settings to stabilize this. Again, like I always say, you guys grab your books, take pictures with your smartphone, and, you know, we'll get started. Okay, great, Nadine. I just want to make sure, because I'm trying to make sure that if we do cross over to the live stream, then, you know, we're good. So since we're here and everything's going well and good, and I'm kind of tweaking the settings on this, then I guess we can go ahead and just get started. And I apologize. And I am looking for emails. Now, people have people are sending me questions. And I may just be doing straight Google Hangouts, because this is really just nerve-wracking going through this. But anyway, I'm just looking through my emails, just seeing what questions are being sent. All right. Okay, I'm just looking through my email, guys, of questions that are being sent. And give me a moment. I know you guys are like, man, we've been waiting long enough. I know I would be. Okay, first question. Finally, right? The question is, how do we convert from kilometers to miles? All right. Well, first off, if we're going to convert from kilometers to miles, if we have and quarter, and then take the half and the quarter. I know this sounds like Chinese. We take the half and the quarter and add them together of any number. That's what you'll get in miles. So let me give you an example. Like when you're on, say, like the highway, and let's say you're in Canada. You're driving in Canada. Give you guys, you will have one thing that I always see is like, all right, let's say if we're talking about a speed limit, right? When you're at the borders, you'll see them in miles per hour and then kilometers per hour. But then what will happen is eventually you'll just see them when you get in country real deep, where the Canadians are definitely, then you pretty much just see them in kilometers. So what the sign says is you'll see this, and for Americans that may be traversing through, and so you'll see kilometers per hour and then miles per hour. All right, so 80 kilometers per hour is equivalent of 50 miles per hour. So I talked about having and having the have. I know that sounds retarded, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna make it all make sense, guys. That's what we do here. All right, so we have our 80 kilometers. All right, so we take our 80, we divide by 2, we will get 40. And then if we take that number and divide by 4, we will get 10. And then we will add these two, and we will have 50 miles per hour. So that's what I meant by having and pretty much quartering. Let me know if that was clear to you guys. And somebody just throw out a random number. Somebody throw out a random number. And I want somebody else to open up another window and have a, and you could put in a, you could type in Google kilometer to miles converter, online converter, and we could test this out. And you guys could double check me. But if you have, and then whatever you get the result from the have, you quarter, which means divide by 4, and then add the two results, you should come up with it. And type in clear if that was clear for you guys. I don't even know why I still have on these headsets. I put these on to so I could I hope I don't upset anything. If I do, I'll plug them back in, because I was trying to isolate. The matter of fact, I am just going to plug them back in, just in case, because I don't want to disturb anything. Okay, so we'll get into other questions, but I just want to know who's in the room, what test you were taking. So write it, the state you're from and the test you were taking, please. I don't know if there's a there. Should be good there. So 6 in the room. Okay, we got Texas in the house. Yeah, on the converter. Yeah, basically, okay. 49.7, so basically 50. All right. Oh, look. South Carolina in the house. I'm happy to see you. I really am. You came in at the right time, because I was having some technical difficulties earlier that I could not figure out, and we finally got them figured out. I've been telling you, come to the stream, come to the stream. Now you're finally at the stream. So that made me smile. Glamorous Lidra is in the room. Nadine, are you still here with us as well? Okay. I got another question in. Very good question. Dealing with at sea, time zones are generally bands of longitude. They're about 15 degrees in width. If you Google lines of longitude, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, bands of longitude. And these are what the time zones are in. Alright, so when we look at the United States, and don't laugh at my artwork. When we look at the United States, okay, there's Maine, New York, Long Island comes out, Florida on the bottom, Texas, don't mess with Texas, and then California. Okay, well, we have the Eastern, we have the Central, So we have the Eastern time zone, we have the Central time zone, we have the Mountain time zone, and we have the Pacific time zone. Alright, so it is basically 10 o'clock, 10:08 here. So if it's 10:08 here, California is going to be 3 hours behind us, and that's an 8. So it will be 7:08 p.m. in California. Now if we took a protractor and laid it across, then these would be exactly 15-degree bands of longitude. So the time zones cover about 60 degrees of longitude. That was a good question. And me being, navigator, pilot, whatever you want to call it. All right. Now you can pose questions. You can pose questions. You can pose them. You can type them in. You can send them. Take a picture with your smartphone. Send them in. You can ask me questions about testing. And anybody that's been dealing with me, and welcome all the new people in the room. I welcome you guys here every Friday night when we're not having technical difficulties. Every Friday night, 9 to 11. And primarily I like for my clients to come because this is their time that they can, get a freebie asking questions. So naturally, and just to be honest, I do like address their questions first and foremost. If you are, you do business with me, then definitely when your questions pop up, it's going to go to the top of the list. Okay. So the last thing we talked about was the time zones. By my ear is the Pacific time zone, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. Something very interesting about time zones. For maybe about a year, I lived in Columbus, in the Columbus, Georgia area. And you had the Chattahoochee River. And you had a bridge that, I believe there was a bridge that went over the Chattahoochee River. And it was actually the Eastern time zone on one side and the Central time zone on the other side. So it would be noon on one side, but 11 o'clock just by driving not even a mile over the bridge. So I thought that was very interesting. The uppermost parts of the time zone, I think around Indiana. Yeah, around Indiana, it splits in the northern part of the United States. So you could be flying from New Jersey to Chicago. You'd be in the Eastern time zone, flying out of Jersey, through Pennsylvania, through Ohio, and then you would get to a certain point in Indiana, and then the hour would change. I forget the navigation site that it's near, but, time zones. Checking the email. Okay. Okay, we have a. Let me look. Is there anything that you guys don't understand when you look in books? That's what I'm looking for. I want to know what the people are missing, what they don't understand. I've been going through my test prep booklet, ASVAB, AFOQT, even if it's from the Federal Aviation Administration or mathematics or science. I've been looking through this book, man, I don't understand this question. That's basically why I'm here. So, please take advantage. Okay. More questions. Alrighty. This is a gear question. Now this is how I handle gear questions. Your answer is 21. But what I do is I apply what I call a gear ratio. Alright, so. And again, guys, I'm sensitive about my artwork. Do not laugh at it. I'm just joking. I don't care if you laugh. Okay, so basically we have two gears. We have gear A and we have gear B. Gear A oh man, I'm bad at drawing gears. But anyway, okay. This gear has 15 teeth, this gear has 10. What I look at is something called a gear ratio. Now these gears go all the way around, keep that in mind. I just drew the top parts and drew the number of teeth in each gear. So I look at the gear ratio, which gear A has 15 and gear B has 10. So I look at the numbers. I would have to multiply 10 by 1.5 in order to get that number of gears. So that's what I call like a gear ratio. Or not even, it's not a ratio, it's just a multiplier, I guess. I use this because however many times this guy turns, this guy is going to have to turn, but it's going to be multiplied by 1.5, which is 1.5, our multiplier, because this has 1.5 as many gears. It has the 10 gears, and then half of 10 is 5, which is 15. So if this guy moves 14 times, then we multiply this by 1.5, and we will get 21, answer A. Alright, and if you understand that, please just type clear on the message board, so I know that the majority of the room. Alright, I see Nadine coming in. Alright, you guys are firing them off now. I like that. Can you go over airport? Okay, Wallace. Can you go over airport runway instructions? What an X on the runway means. Also, their restrictions from certain flying weather. Okay, first off, let me thank Khalidra for providing the gear question. And this question is from Wallace. Wallace is asking, can you go over airport runway instructions? I'm really not clear on what you mean by that, but I will kind of expound on it. What an X on the runway means, can definitely do that. And also air restrictions from certain flying zones to enter. Okay. This would probably be best addressed in a Google chat, where I could I could screen share and present certain diagrams for you to look at. But at any rate, for right now in the live stream, what does it mean to have an X on the runway? Well, when we have an X on the runway, you would have, say, runway 21 right. Alright. First off, this number 21 is the magnetic direction. This is pointing in 210 degrees in relation to what we would call magnetic north. The magnetic North Pole. There are two North Poles. Yeah, two North Poles. There's a geographic North Pole, and then there's a magnetic North Pole. So there's two North Poles. No, yeah, geographic and magnetic. The thing of it is they are about a little bit over 1,000 miles apart. So you cannot fly to geographic North Pole with a magnetic compass, because the magnetic compass is going to be seeking magnetic north. Now, if you have certain maps that show you the magnetic variation to make adjustments, then you could fly it that way. So sometimes what will happen is we will have an X on the runway. When you see that X on there, that means that there's some type of unsafe condition. You do not land on it. You don't land in it at all. Airport runway instructions. Well, you're pretty much going to do whatever the tower instructs you to do, unless you as the pilot in command have some type of if there's some type of emergency or danger or something like that. If I don't know, I'm trying to think of a scenario. Basically, if the tower controller says clear to land, you're cleared to land. Does that mean that you're going to land on runway 21 right and you see X's? You see an X on the runway? No, I'm not going to land on that air. I don't care even if I probably would be in controlled airspace, but I'm not going to land on there. If I see an X, I'm like, yo, that doesn't look cool to me, and I'm not going to wreck an airplane landing it on this runway when there could be something wrong. Maybe the construction crew forgot to remove the X in the tower, and the tower doesn't know yet. But still, nobody's going to beat you up for going around. Let's see, what else? Deviations. This is what we call deviations. You deviate from a clearance, which means you don't follow the clearance because there's some type of unsafe condition. I don't know, and basically most of the people, a lot of the people in like in air safety and stuff like that, they are pilots. So, I mean, they would understand. They'd be like, hey, he was cleared to land on 21 right. He saw an X. He didn't land. We're not going to beat him up. So the X means do not land. Air restrictions in certain zones. You have two types of airspace. You have controlled airspace and you have uncontrolled airspace. Now, controlled airspace does not always mean that there's an air traffic controller in control or having jurisdiction over the vicinity of that airspace. Sometimes controlled airspace, like say like a class E above a certain altitude, class Echo, there are certain cloud clearance and visibility requirements that must be maintained. So although no air traffic controller is like, oh, what are you doing in my airspace? It is still controlled airspace because of it's controlled by cloud clearances and visibilities that you need to maintain. Of course, we have two different types of flying. We have VFR, which is visual flight rules for all you AFOQT pilot wannabes, ASTB, visual flight rules. It means we're flying, we're looking out of the cockpit, and that's how we're maintaining our navigation, as opposed to IFR when the weather gets really, really bad, and then we have to file an IFR flight plan. This is on foggy days when the clouds are really, really close to the ground. You can't visually fly that plane out of there. So I hope that answered your question. 88. Okay, Nadine, I am looking at your question. Opposite directions, one flew 80 miles faster than the other. In 4 hours, they were 2,600 miles apart. This is a good question, Nadine. This is a great question. It's an awesome question. And so where do we get 1.5? We got 1.5 because 1.5 was, when we looked at the two gears, you had 15 gears here and you had 10 gears here. So we have to look at the numbers. In order to get from 10 to 15, we need to multiply by 1.5. So once we establish 1.5 is the number
that we need to get to from smaller gear to bigger gear, then 1.5. If I multiply 10 times 1.5, I will get 15. So this gives me the revolution modifier. If this thing rotates 20 times, this thing will rotate, the smaller gear is going to rotate 30 times. Or in the question, if this gear rotates 21 times, or 14 times, then 1.5, which is 14 times 1.5, is 21. Alright, so answer A is your answer. And I'm sorry, I'm getting some type of lag with the voice. Not the voice, but the boom. Alright. This is a really, really good question that Nadine brought to the table. I love distance, rate, and time problems. Alright. Now, how do we solve word problems? We solve word problems line by line. They're not hard. People just don't know how to reconstruct the information. So I'm going to show you how. In this case, two planes started at the same time from the same airport and flew in opposite directions. So we have an airport here. Okay. And they fly in opposite direction. All right. One flew 80 miles per hour faster than the other one. So we'll give this an unknown speed and this a known speed plus 80, because the sentence says one flew 80 miles per hour faster than the other. In 4 hours, they were 2,600 miles apart. What was the speed of the slower plane? Well, any distance, rate, time problem is always going to fall under some form of this. So we know our distance is 2,600 miles. The rate is x and then x plus 80, and the time is 4 hours. That should be a multiplication symbol. So this is relatively easy. We take x and x, which is 2x plus 80. Alright, let's take a look. And let me just stay structured with this, because we're going to call this number 1 and this guy number 2. So number 1, because I want to make sure you stay within the rate and time format. So number 1, the rate times 4 hours, and then this is x plus 80, because you want 80 miles faster times 4 hours. And it's very, very important that we stay structured. So we will actually get a situation where we will have 4 distribute, 4x plus 3 to 0, and then 4x. So the rate and the time, and the rate and the time is, they're both going to equal to 2,600 when we add them up. Now, I want to make sure I'm not screwing stuff. We have time, and then we have the 2 rates. Alright, I'm thinking of another type of distance, rate, and time question, but that's alright. It's alright. So I think 2x plus 80 will satisfy us. 2x, x and x plus 80 should equal 2,600. Because there's so many variations of these, sometimes I get lost a little bit sometimes. So let's see if this works. And if it doesn't work, then I know the other method. 80, if we subtract 80 from here, 520 equals 2x. and then 2520. I'm not sure if this is the right approach. 12052. And what are our answers coming out? No. So the other method that I used was right. And I apologize, but I know this is a little bit confusing to you guys. Rate times time. So it would be the way I was initially setting it up, where both of our rates would be x and x plus 80 times 4 hours. The 4 is distributed, and this is plus 80. So 4x plus 320 4x and 320, and then 4x plus 4x is equal to 2600. 8x plus 320. 2600. 2600. 320. 05. 28. 2. 8. 2, 1, 6, 6, 8, 7, 8, 6, 4, and that is not, that's not it either. What was the speed of the slower plane? Okay, now when I run into stuff like this, then this is when I'm not going to waste any more time. My two approaches are not working. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to do something called plugging and playing. So I'm going to find a number that's kind of in the mid-range, so to speak. So I'm going to go with 305. All right. And this happens. 305. So we're going to have 305. So let's say this guy is 305. And this guy is 385 because it's x plus 80. So 385. So 305 and 385, their expansion is going to be 600, 10, and 90 miles per hour. Alright, so in 4 hours, will this guy be 2,600 miles apart? Alright, 0, 36, 3, 24, 27. So 305 is too high. So in 4 hours, these two planes, if the slower plane was 305, then in 4 hours they will be 2760 apart. So we picked Bravo, but now we're going to go with A, which is 285. So we test this out. 285, and then 285 with this one plus 80. And that would be 365. Alright, let's check that out. Alright, 285 plus 80, 5, 6, 3. 10, 15, 650. So we're going a little bit slower. And why I'm using that is because in 4 hours, these guys are both leaving together in opposite directions. So let's see if this works. In 4 hours with these two airplanes, if 285 is the speed, 0, 20, 24, 2600. Okay, answer A is the answer. There is a formula, but this live stream crap's got me off my game a little bit. But at any rate, if you're in a test and you do forget what your formula you're going to use, you still have to develop a tactic, which I just employed. I was like, man, I'm using this one, and it really wasn't solidifying for me. So then after that, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to select the answer, and I'm going to try it out. If this speed is X, which B was 305, so I said I'll pick a speed in the middle. That will let me know whether to go higher or lower. So 305 is what I use. I use 305 and 385, which gave me 690 in 4 hours of flying. These guys would have been 2,600 miles apart. So that's too much. So our answer were 285, 305, 325, and 345. I'll pick 305. If this is too far apart, then I got to go lower. Okay. If I had picked 325, I would have had to go lower. All right. So that was a really, really good question. And there is a formula for it. And I am going to... I'm gonna, if you shoot me an email, Nadine, I'll find the formula. It's been a rough night. I'm like, man. And distance, rate, and time problems are my favorite, but, you know, number theory. Somebody put in number theory. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, okay. Libra divided by 24 got 650. Alright, 650. Alright. Those are the questions I saw when I took on that. Yeah, you'll definitely see distance, rate, and time on the FOQT. He changed his mind to go to the Navy. Okay. Yeah, I got this question from my AFOQT study guide, but I changed my mind to go Navy. And Nadine, there's something you need to know. The ASTB is way harder than AFOQT. Unless you've extinguished your 2 times taking the AFOQT, because I believe you can only take them twice in a lifetime. The ASTB is no joke. Seriously, I prep guys for this all the time. Email you another one. No, send me your email. Oh, actually, no, I have your email if you sent the question. Duh. But the thing is there is a formula for this. It's just my brain's kind of, boom, tonight, because all this crap with the live stream and the encoder and all that and everything. You know, I like it when things go smooth, and I can just kind of flow with mine. But it's all right. We still arrived at the answer. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, Mr. E's talking about the ASTB. Even if you're not going to be a pilot and you're just taking the OAR, it's still a beast because of the mechanical comprehension. Physics is really, really big. They actually took the mechanical comprehension test out of the AFOQT. So that, by virtue, that's what makes it easier. The math is still going to be there. The math is not going anywhere on these tests. Not going to happen. You always have the math and the algebra 1, algebra 2 type math. But what makes the ASTB harder, be it OAR is the basic officer section, and then the flight officer section is the ASTB, hence aviation selection test pattern. Took OAR, never took the FOQT. I don't know, might do both. Okay. Yeah, that OAR is a beast, man. You know, because it's the math, reading comprehension, and the math and the mechanical comprehension is what makes it, it's just what makes it just bad. Not bad. I mean, if you have the proper instruction and training, yeah, it will not be a major issue. But I'm not saying, I would not recommend anybody to just walk in there and take that test unless you have somebody that tutors it, or you know a bunch of people, like, say like at your college, there's like, you got a bunch of friends in ROTC, either, you know, Navy, Marine Corps, or a Coast Guard ROTC program that are prepping for it, and they kind of, yeah, I took the test and they know what's on it, because it's a bear. I didn't study score. That's pretty decent if you got a 37 not scoring. You need a 50 to be compatible. That was embarrassing. I mean, look, I've seen people come in with lower scores than that. But you need a 50 to be competitive, which means you were 13 points off. So if you train with somebody that, like I said, that's taking the test or is a tutor for the test, then you can definitely up that score and get yourself into the 50, into the competitive range. But the AFOQT is way easier. I'm just saying, it's way easier. I mean, I guess like 10 years I've been prepping guys, over 10 years really. Okay, the AFOQT, really? Well, you haven't taken the, well, have you, Osvaldo, have you taken the ASTB? I think you got me beat with the ASTB, Mr. E says. Yeah, it's just, hold on, let me make sure I'm not leaving. Because we're kind of getting into a discussion, which is cool. But, I just want to make sure we're true. Observe the figure below. Okay. Alright, back to the track. Yeah, Mr. E, did you take the... Nah. Dude, I'm telling you. I've been prepping guys for this. And the questions that they... The types of questions that they say they come back with from the ASTB would be insane if you're not prepared. If you are prepared, then that's a monkey of another color. I think the old folks should say that's a monkey of another color. If you are prepared, this is why I tell people to stop. Don't stop letting your recruiters be like, oh yeah, just come in and just take it out. Try it out. You have 2 or 3 chances, depending on the test, to take this in your whole life. Why would you just... Alright, man, I'm going to go down and just take the test. Let's just see where I'm at. Nah, prep before. So, even if, for whatever reason, my testing anxiety kicked in or whatever, at least you got an opportunity to see the test. But you prepared. You came in with a mindset. Someone just going in and just taking the test is just like, really? Like, I don't know. It's like, people that like, oh, I'm just going to go take the SAT. Excuse me. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. Alright. Khalidra, any more questions for me? Nadine shot another question. 8 miles. Okay, Nadine, I will address this in the Google chat. I'm going to do this in the Google chat. Alright. So at this point, I have 6 in the room. If I've answered a question or if I've given you some beneficial information, please just click the like button. Please. I know it's not a lot, but I love my small community. Because you guys are a small part of society. People that are like really trying to advance themselves. You're preparing for these tests. You guys are thinking people because you're coming to a forum where, we build a synergy and develop just a community of people preparing for these tests that are extremely hard. All right. There's a small percentage of people in the U.S. that are military officers. Small percentage. So these guys just don't walk off the street and be like, "Oh, I'm going to be a military officer." No, you gotta put in some work. You gotta fight for it, not just mentally but physically as well. So I don't consider you guys just run-of-the-mill people. You guys are the cream of the crop. Even if you don't feel you are, like, oh, blah 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 blah. Okay. So I am going to switch to the Google chat, the Google Hangout now. please send me a email if you would like to join. kienothos@gmail.com. And even if you catch this video at the back end because it's DVRable, you can still shoot me an email. And Glamorous Libra, I will you will actually be the first question I do, and the second question I will do is from Nadine. If you guys have a Gmail account, the transition will be better. What else did I want to say? Because I think if you have a Yahoo account, then you got to kind of download something to come in and all that and everything. And with the Gmail, you just click, bang, done, and you're in the room. So please send those emails out, and I'm gonna jump into the live stream. And again, I think I figured out the tweak for this, so we don't get the reverberation. All right, so I'm very happy about that, because it's really had me flustered, drive me nuts. Because I want to continue to do the live streams and have these conversations, because these are DVRable. I typically don't record my Google Hangouts anymore, so this is the format to kind of just boom. So for all you guys that are watching this in the DVR format or the live stream format, every Friday night 9 to 11 I host the live stream, and I go into a Google chat. Here in this forum, you can just come with your books, you can ask questions, you can send them, you can send questions to my email, but in the Google Hangout, you can actually talk with me. Like I'm talking and you're hearing me. Well, we could talk like we're having a phone conversation there, and there are other people in the room, but it's a great synergy tool, I think. And you can see other questions being worked out. You can see people's other perceptions of these questions and stuff. And like some people say, hey, I saw that on my AFOQT test. That's like golden right there. If you can get any information of, of something you saw in the test, it's like beautiful. All right, so I am switching over. Please click the like button. I thank you guys for being patient with me. Please send me an email if you want to be in the live stream. Have a great night. See you next Friday, 9 o'clock sharp. I got the live stream thing all worked out now. Have a great night.